Okay, it's 6:30. At this time, I'd like to call the Administrative Services Committee meeting for Monday, April 15th to order. Please call the roll. Here.
Here.
Here. Here. He's excused. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the April 1st, 2019 committee meeting. Councilor Tesorerio, Councilor DeMasi. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Item 1, under old business, Councilor Gozick requests discussion regarding the purchase of a slide for Washington Square Park, or East Park as we call it. Councilor Gozick?
Yep. Last committee it was tabled. I just wanted to bring up again. This is in the 2nd ward. I'm not in my ward, but and I've already told the story about it. But there was a request that we have specific pricing, and we have that in here now with all of the specifications and drawings for each of the different slides from the 2 different companies we looked at, and so I hope everyone's had a chance to look at it. We were looking at one from Parkitex and one from Compon, who did the original playground equipment was from Compon, and they had reached a point where Novellus, just for people that don't know, had $6,000 left of the original allotment to put slide in. There was never a slide put in East Park, and Novellus actually upped that 2 weeks ago to $10,000. So basically what, I was bringing this here on behalf of Councilor DeMasi, and she's welcome to speak too, that we have the exact numbers now, and it would be a little under $6,000 if the city was willing to chip in to match the $10,000 that Novellus has put up to get the slide. So, I mean, I can open it up to discussion if Councilor DeMasi wants to speak to it.
Is there anybody else on the council that would like to speak to it? Yes, Councilor DeMasi.
Yes, this all came about when John called and asked, somebody had spoken to him because he took care of Kingsford Park, and asked if I minded if he did this, and I had absolutely no problem. He's done a good job getting all the work and everything together to make this happen like the other parks. The only question on this estimate is it does say that it's only construed as an official, it's not an official quote.
Right, and the Parkitect one was the one we were actually, I don't know, the backstory behind it was, if people can see, I know you can't see it up there, but it was just a traditional slide up and down, one kid on, one off. The slide from Compon was multi-use with climbing elements, a tunnel where you could have 5 or 6 kids on it at once, and so the Parkitect one actually was the one the reason why that was on there, because that was all they could afford, and it didn't match the rest of the equipment. That's why the lady that I know from Compon, Bree Martinez, had approached me, and it was somewhat time sensitive because they were trying to push through to get the slide. They were about ready to purchase this slide from Parkitect, which and nothing against the company at all, but or their equipment. I'm sure it's fine equipment, but it was we look at East Park, as I mentioned before, it's a showcase park for the city. If you think about it, all our major events that we do highlight in our for Oswego, and you get those little cards that tell about the events, Pumpkin Fest, crafts fairs, Harbor Fest has their jazz and blues stage, which is one of the main venues for Harbor Fest. Not to mention, the rest of the time there's tons of kids and pedestrians going through the park. And my whole objective here was I just thought that considering the money the city spends, and if we take it out of the contingency fund, which is the taxpayers' money anyway, that this is a worthwhile investment considering it'll be there 20 or 30 years. I'm a strong believer in improving our parks. The quality of life improves. Children are able to have an outlet. A lot of kids don't get the opportunity to go anywhere. That's like the world to them. And for my tax dollars, I feel very strongly, a lot of people do, that this is a worthwhile $6,000 to invest. I've said before, we spent that much at Christmas time for one day to put a reindeer outside here, or put a plastic skating rink out here, and I think it's a worthwhile investment. But so the Parkitect one is actually the one we were looking at the other one. That's what we were asked last time to get a couple different prices. So we have the price from Compon and Parkitect, but the Compon slide was from the original slides that they'd slated to go in. What had happened, they never used the money for that. Landscaping was done instead. A lot of the money was used for stuff other than equipment. That's why if you go to East Park, you'll notice that it's kind of a bare bones park with not a lot there. I mean, the equipment that there's fine, but people have complained that there wasn't a slide, and that's why Novellus was going to put the slide in. So at this point, I was hoping the city could come up with additional $6,000 to get a high-quality slide that would accommodate several children at once. I mean, as far as I know, the compound price is exact. Mrs. Martinez went out of her way to prepare that, the pricing for it and get it to us for no expense or anything, just to have it here. So, I mean, I don't know about this was provided by Mr. Phillips, who's a liaison from the, he's working as a liaison between Novellus and this, trying to get the slide in. He was just appointed because of his work with the ORA. As far as I know, he has no other affiliation with Novellus.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and there's one other thing I should add. I forgot. I did check as well, and they do vend with Onondaga Purchasing, or Onondaga County Purchasing. So they are one of the they are on their vending list. But I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, does anybody else on the council have any questions? Because I'm a little lost here myself. Well, before I get to you, Counselor, let's see if the fiscal officer can maybe clarify some things, because I have questions here.
I just need to, Councilor Joseph mentioned Onondaga, they will take the quotes and they will procure it, so they will look for other quotes. So the money that is allocated may change from what the proposal is tonight.
Okay, just so you know, the thing was, I wasn't aware because of before, when we did it, was before we entered into the purchasing agreement with Onondaga County, so that changes, so. I don't know how that,
Maybe more, they will procure it.
what's that, I'm sorry?
They will procure it because the discretionary spending amount is $3,000, so they will procure it. They'll look for other quotes from other companies that can meet their needs. So it might be more money, it might be less money.
Okay, I don't mean, beyond me, I didn't realize that, but if that's going to affect the outcome here or not. I mean, it seems like if we wanted to pick a slide, it shouldn't be all that complicated, but I mean, I defer to the experts on that. By no means am I a fiscal expert. All we're trying to do is get a better slide for the kids at East Park, so if can't go through, you know what, it's not my ward. I did everything I could, so I guess I'll let the other counselors, if anyone has better business sense than me, they're more than welcome to chime in. But for such a little investment in a park that's such an important centerpiece of our city, I would think we'd want to pony up and put $6,000 up to try to get the decent slide that goes with the rest of the equipment, but...
All right, Counselor, thank you very
I'm
much
done.
for your input.
Yep.
Counselor Tesorero, did you have anything to add?
That was my question, she answered it.
So, just to clarify then, Counselor Gozick has submitted today's quote from this Parkitect, and then a week or two ago, we got a price from another company called...
Compound. They did the park, yeah,
Right.
the equipment there.
But what you're saying is that whatever we got here really doesn't matter because Onondaga Purchasing will go out and solicit bids.
When the requisition's cut, it'll attach a copy of those two quotes to it so that they have the listing of the equipment that's being chosen. And they may say fine, or they may go out and look at another quote. So those, I believe it'll be Brooke that will cut the requisition and still attach the two quotes.
But at this point, I mean, the item that was on the agenda says a discussion regarding purchasing of the slide for Washington Square Park. So don't we, as the council, have to authorize going out to bid or custom bids?
It's not a bid, it's a quote.
Quote.
You have to authorize the funds.
But not at this point, we're not authorizing funds.
We can have them look at it before we cut the rest to see if they're going to accept them. And then you can do the resolution on Monday, and we can get that turned around in a day.
So at this point, are we voting on anything?
To go forward to investigate, to estimate, quote.
Well, that's, I guess, what I'm asking, because here it says just have a discussion.
Nothing that needs to go to council.
Okay.
We can procure it before we actually cut the record.
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, if it's moving it forward, I think that's great. I don't know, Councilor Damasi might want to say something, but I think that's great.
Yeah, we really can't vote on anything.
I don't think there...
If you authorize the funds that's there, it may be too much, it may not be enough.
So at this point, we're just going to continue on with the meeting and not vote or discuss this any further.
What would we, I was just wondering, excuse me, so what does that mean? I mean, because the big thing was they were trying to get the slide in there for this summer.
If we get the prices, you can reach out to the Admin Services Committee and see if you want to do a resolution for Monday night.
Oh, okay, so it could still be there if you're able to get, okay, I don't know what other counselors think, but that sounds good. I mean, at least we're moving it forward.
Without going into too much detail, I would say that the counselors that are here are probably in support of this.
Absolutely.
We just need
You know,
more information on voting. I mean, if we're going to do our due diligence as far as fiscal responsibility, we need to know what it's going to cost.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
All right, so at this point, you have anything else?
No, so I just want to make sure to clarify, so they're going to submit both of the bids we already have, but then Onondaga County could come back and say, fine, with the one we chose. If not, they could come back and say we have to consider others. So that's fine by me. It's as good as I can ask for.
Okay, then. Moving on to item number 1 under new business. Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. requests authorization to have Onondaga County Purchasing issue a RFP, request for proposals, for fish cleaning services at the 2 fish cleaning stations in the city of Oswego. Mayor Barlow?
Thank you. We did this last year where we awarded it to Oz Angling, which has the shop down on Route 48 across from the Ritz Diner. So with fishing season coming up, just trying to get a head start this year and do it earlier than we did last year. Just going to essentially put out the same RFP that we put out last year and give Onondaga County the permission to bid that. One side note is we'll be putting in the, similar to what we did with the paving plan, we'll be putting in the RFP that the business, in order to qualify to submit to this RFP, you have to be within 25 miles of the city.
All right, very good. Any questions for the mayor? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Councilor Hill, Councilor DeMassey. Yes.
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 Item number 2, Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. requests discussion for advance funding to the disaster recovery account. Mayor Barlow?
Thank you. This is related to the FEMA funding that we have that is also related to the high water levels from 2016 due to Plan 2014. If you remember, in 2016, the water was pushed up into the river, damaging some areas up behind the Ritz, Bridey Manor, the Galloway building area. Also did some damage out on Shore Road in that neighborhood. And then the 2 main areas would be the International Pier and the Wrights Landing Marina, and then the shoreline to Brightbeck Park. So we've been working on coordinating with FEMA, that entire process, thanks to the help of Chief Griffin and Deputy Chief Norfleet, who's really the point of contact for the city on this project. We think we've secured approximately $5 million. That number's not set in stone. And FEMA is looking to make that first disbursement later this summer, so we need to establish an account to put that money into an account. What's nice about this money is, unlike the grant money that we win, where we have to front the money and then we get reimbursed upon completion of a project, FEMA has actually given us the money up front, so the money would go in this account. And this account is named Disaster Recovery Account because obviously any money in that account is specifically for the restoration projects related to the flooding.
All right, very good. Any questions for the mayor from the council? Anybody else? Oh, Councilor Cesario.
No, I think this is a good thing. It's taken a couple of years to get established, but people have to realize that this is the process. And I believe the good work that we have done to secure these funds where other communities haven't been able to do it speaks for itself. So I commend Chief Griffin, the mayor, and everybody involved in it to get this money to come forward, because it is important, and we're going to see this possibly again, but we've established ourselves as being a community that's going to repair what we have. So thank you very much.
All right, anybody else? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor Tesorio, Councilor Hill.
Councilor
Yes.
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 Mayor's office. Item number 3, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, is recommending standardizing the purchase of all fire hydrants within the city of Oswego through the manufacturer Kennedy Valve. Is there somebody? Yes, Commissioner Kells, could you speak to this?
Good evening, councilors. So going back many, many years, we would purchase hydrants based on probably the best price from different companies. Well, fast forward to now, we have several types of hydrants that need to be repaired. So we have to keep parts for all these, as well as training for the different ones. By doing this, we have to carry less parts, less training, and be more efficient. A lot of these companies actually are no longer in business, so we have to replace the hydrants. So that's for the next meeting.
Any questions? Yeah, Councilor Tesorio?
This is for Debbie Code. Is this going to be an issue with Onondaga Purchasing to say we want Kennedy Valve exclusively, or are they going to tell us, Tom, they're going to come back and say, well, we can get you cheaper hydrants?
We've already checked into that with them, Counselor,
okay.
and we already have quite a few with the Kennedys, so
Okay.
that's why we want to keep going with them.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else with any issues, questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Councilor Hill, Councilor Tesorio. Yes.
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 Item number 4, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, requests authorization for the City of Chamberlain to complete a budget amendment once funds are received from the sale of the surplus sand/salt mixture that is no longer used by the Department of Public Works. Commissioner Kells?
So if we go back 3 years ago, the city used to use a 50-50 mix of sand and salt for the roads. When Mayor Barlow came in, brought me in, we went to salt. Saves a ton of money on cleanup as far as sides of roads, saves about 2.5 months for the DPW in the spring cleaning up. We do use a little bit more salt, but we sold this mix, and this is the proceeds of that.
All right, very good. Any questions for the Commissioner or concerns? I can personally attest to the fact that the streets have been cleaner in the spring the last 3 years, so I'm all for this one, getting rid of the sand. Can I have a motion? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Tesorio. Yes.
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 Item number 5, City Chamberlain Deborah Code and Chief Griffin Enchago request discussion of the bids authorized by Resolution 401 of 2008 for fire equipment and authorization to advance funds if necessary. Chief? Don't be bashful.
Chief Shock was supposed to be here too.
Step right up.
Yeah,
Don't be
fast
bashful.
turn. This is the same project I came before you a number of times about. This is the replacement of a 30-year-old aerial truck for the city. And obviously a lot of the equipment on that is either 30 years old or better, because a lot of the equipment was old when it was put onto that piece of apparatus. So to break this down, there's 4 parts to this. The physical vehicle itself, which pretty much comes with a pump and ladders, the fire hose that comes on it, loose equipment that comes on it, and then a hydraulic tool. So what we're trying to do is have ready reserve pieces of apparatus. So instead of when we have 2 ladder trucks and 2 engines in the city of Oswego, and when one comes out of service, what we try not to do is have to take equipment off and put it on the other one. So if we bring off-duty people in, that vehicle's ready to go. If, knock on wood, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for instance, a fire here in downtown, if one truck ends up on one side of the street and the other truck ends up on Water Street, for instance, obviously we can't steal each other's equipment. So we can't duplicate that. So the idea is to have a ready reserve piece of apparatus that can be deployed when an incident occurs with off-duty people. They don't have to borrow equipment from another piece of apparatus. So this will help us make that vehicle whole. So the truck itself is a 75-foot aerial device, straight stick. It'll be a single axle, unlike the larger truck that you may see driving around the city. We'll still keep that for major events, major fires. That was purchased through a standing bid. So the Canastota Fire Department, the Village of Canastota, went out and bid a fire truck. We piggybacked off that bid. Instead of creating our own truck, we piggybacked off that, made minor changes. It will not say Canastota anywhere on it. It will say Oswego. But we took advantage of that pricing in order to get that vehicle. The hose, we went through the typical bidding process. What we can do is we can write a spec that says we like this type of hose because it's standard to the Oswego Fire Department. Find the best price on that brand of hose. So we did that. Loose equipment, this is what kind of tied up the bond because we literally had to go through every piece of equipment. So a Halligan bar, an axe, so you had to spec what type of axe to make sure you're going to get the right axe. We had to go through all that list of equipment. But by doing so, we came in about 17% favorable on that. We estimated to be about $60,000 worth of loose equipment. We came in at $49,650 on that loose equipment. And then a hydraulic tool. This is the tool that we use to pop open doors or cut people out of cars and things like that because the ladder truck carries that equipment. So that's basically the equipment that's going to come on it. Again, this is the same project that we've come before you a number of times before. It's just now we're ready to put the actual bond out to actually get the money. I don't know if you want to talk to any part of the bond. Yes. Yep, fire truck's ordered.
All right, very good. Any questions for the chief or for Mrs. Code? And when is that fire truck due in?
This fall. I'll say this fall because the rescue that was supposed to be here back whenever finally got here, so I don't want to jinx it. It will be red, just in case anybody was wondering.
Good to know.
Yes.
Seeing nobody interested in talking? Oh, yes.
I just
Councilman?
want to say this has nothing to do with it. This is very exciting. But those new smoke alarms,
Yes.
detectors and
Yes.
carbon monoxide, awesome. I'm excited for those.
Very good.
Much safer.
All right.
We have
We
to
can
worry
all
about
agree
people
with that one?
pulling batteries out of smoke detectors, so it's a good thing.
All right, can I have a motion? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Tesorario. Yes.
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 We have a new number 6 from what we had originally, so the new number 6, which was added on a little earlier today, is the city clerk's office has received an application from DeMarco and Sons Incorporated for a 2019 solid waste license. They have submitted the $500 fee for a major hauler license. And we've done this before. They're just looking to get a solid waste license, and it has to go to this committee. So it's pretty much just bookkeeping. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor Hill, Councilor Tesorario. Yes.
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 All right. From what I see, we have 4 additional items, 7, 8, 9, and 10, that will require executive session. Since we have another meeting after this one, another committee meeting, the Physical Services Committee meeting, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into recess. Councilor Hill, Councilor DeMasi. Yes.
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 Hey, at this time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting for April 15, 2019 to order. Please call the roll. Here. Excuse.
Sorry.
Here.
Here.
Could I please have a motion to approve the minutes of our April 1st, 2019 committee meeting? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Under communication, item number 1, Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. has received a request from Jonathan Evans, senior pastor of Elam Grace Church, for use of public space on Saturday, May 11, 2019, in order to hold a Service Oswego event. Is there anyone here to speak to this event? Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Jonathan Evans. Last year we did this event called Service Oswego with our church. Had 100 volunteers that came to clean downtown, the Parkway, and the Riverwalk, a couple of other places. We were going to do that again, just changing a few locations that we'll be serving and cleaning in. The request is for the Civic Plaza, so that after we're all done cleaning and doing what we're doing from 8 to 11, we can meet at Civic Plaza and have some light refreshments. So the request is for 2 canopies, 10 by 10, in that space to serve coffee, light refreshments for everybody that came and worked. So that's the request.
Great. So this is specifically for cleanup after the Bridge Street run?
Yes,
That's
that,
the
and
intent,
there'll be some things happening at the Art Association and a few other locations, but yes.
Just make that clear. We appreciate the work that you're doing. So, are there any questions from the council? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Thank you. Item number 2, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of the Department of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for use of public space at Wright's Landing in order to place a small chest freezer to collect coho salmon caught at Wright's Landing during the 2019 season for a tagging project. Commissioner Kells?
Councilors, they've done this in the past. I have no issue with it.
Great. So, are there any questions for the Commissioner? No. Okay, could I please have a motion? Councilor Gozick, Councilor DeMasi. Yes.
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 Item number 3, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of the Department of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from William Hollis for use of public space in order to set up 180 chairs at the right side of the bell tower at Brightbeck Park on Saturday, August 24, 2019, for a wedding ceremony at 1 p.m. Is there anyone here to speak to this event other than the Commissioner? Commissioner Kells? Any concerns? Perfect. Any concerns from the council? Could I please have a motion? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Item number 4, the Special Events Committee received a request from the Oswego County Federal Credit Union to organize and host Movies in the Park to be held on June 26, 2019, with a rain date on June 27, 2019, and August 21, 2019, with a rain date on August 22, 2019, in Washington Square Park, East Park. This is a recurring event. It's been very well attended. Is there anyone here to speak to this event? Okay. Are there any questions or concerns from the council? Councilor DeMasi.
I just want to make sure, Commissioner Kells, are you good with all the cleanup afterward? Okay.
Great. Could I please have a motion? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Item number 5, the Special Events Committee, through the Office of Economic Development, received a request from Mary Kay Stone with the Friends of Fort Ontario for the Madeline Festival to be held on Saturday, June 1st, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Fort Ontario Complex. Is there anyone here to speak to this event? Again, this is a recurring event. It is being expanded this year, from what I understand, and it's really turning out to be well attended and something that they enjoy doing, and I think it's great for the community. Any questions or concerns? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Item number 6, the City Engineering Department has received a request from Lois O'Connor, owner of a single-family dwelling located at 94 West Schuyler Street, for the use of public space for a new front porch and step. Is there anyone here to speak to this item? And I don't see the city engineer here. Councilor.
I would just like to say that I did have a chance to meet with Mrs. O'Connor. There is an existing concrete step and sidewalk flag that will basically just cover that. She's really not taking up any additional public space, a slight widening, but the engineering department says it is fine.
Great, and that's what I was going to add, is that it has been vetted through the engineering department. Are there any questions by the council? Could I have a motion, please? Councilor DeMasi, Councilor Gozick. Yes.
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 Item number 7, the City Engineering Department received a request from Anthony Pauldine owner of a commercial building located at 197 to 203 West First Street, in order to place an A-frame sign between the curb and property line. And this is specifically for a sign for Shell's Bake Shop. So are there any questions or concerns with this request? Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this will replace that? Great. Perfect. So the motion was made by Counselor Gozick and seconded by Counselor DeMassey. Yep. Yes.
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 And item number 8, the City Clerk's Office received a request from Anne Marie King and Bernard Galka, representatives of the Connection Point, for use of public space on Thursday, May 2nd, 2019, in order to hold an outdoor prayer initiative. Is there anyone here to speak to this event? Thank you.
We have held the National Day of Prayer here in the Common Council chambers for years. We wanted to just expand this time into the evening from 7 to 8 in the City Plaza.
Great. Are there any questions or concerns related to this request? Counselor?
It's supposed to be Thursday, May 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Is the farmer's market going on at that time? Is there a conflict with the farmer's market?
Well, they're using, you said we're using the chamber and expanding outdoors?
The chamber is at noon, and the City Plaza is from 7 to 8.
That would be...
Going to hand up over there.
Great. Perfect.
Thank you for answering that.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could I please have a motion? Counselor Gozick, Counselor DeMassey. Yes.
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 Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor DeMassey, Counselor Gozick. Yes.
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 Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to reconvene the Administrative Services Committee meeting, and can I have a motion? Counselor Hill, Counselor DeMassey. We just come out of recess, and now we're going to go into executive session. Can I have a motion for that, to go into executive session? Counselor Hill, Counselor Tesorario. Yes.
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 Thank you. Okay, Ron's show of hands to come out of executive session. Unanimous? All right, can I have a motion to close out this meeting? Tesorario and Hill. All right, yes.
Yes.